Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the little shorts. That's basically what I've been up to, having migraines. I suffer from weather-related migraines, and the weather in Arkansas has been 40 one day and 75 the next, and I have been in hell. I did try to make a video during this time, but half my face was drooping, so I didn't upload it. That was kind of scary. So this past holiday season was a first for me, and at my age those don't happen a lot anymore. And the first was, it was the first out holiday season I had spent with my immediate family, my mom, my sister, and my father. And that's also really weird. You know, I love that Queer as Folk where Brian had to come out to his dad, and like, you know, he was like just out in your face, probably, you know, the most legendary on Liberty. And and his dad didn't know. So going into it and experiencing it really made me realize a lot about out versus in over the holidays. I was married to a woman for 13 years. That was the mother of the boys, and she knew, her family knew. It didn't even come up because I was married to their daughter and I was deeply in love with her, and she did it for me. But I always noticed that the few holidays I was able to spend with my mother and father, because they lived so far away for so long, in retrospect kind of seemed the less comfortable ones. When I knew their dynamic, I knew what to expect as far as their behavior, and it represented emotionally home to me. So it should have felt a lot more at ease there than anywhere else. And I didn't realize how alienating it was to be in the closet. And most of the differences were subtle. Most of the differences were probably noticed only by me and were actually internal factors. But I could walk around more relaxed in my own skin because I realized that when I was closeted, I was really running every single move I made under a microscope, trying to filter out what was gender atypical so I appeared more straight. And of course things have changed since then over the years, being single. So many things I couldn't say to mom and dad when we would get together and discuss things. I'd have to constantly be changing pronouns, he, she, flipping things around, modifying stories, and then being on my guard to make sure that I didn't do anything that most people notice and are the reason that most people don't think I'm straight. But the coming out story itself is for another time. This, just going into it, everybody knew, and there was a lot of catching up because mom talked to me and asked me about things from my past, like friends I'd had, if there was anything going on there. You know, how did I feel when this happened? You know, knowing what they knew then, it was like, you know, that probably really hurt, didn't it? But it was, you know, I could talk about my boyfriends, I could talk about the guy I was seeing, I could talk about the fact that I was bisexual, eventually not sitting right with my most recent wife, drove a lot of the dynamic of that breakup, and how it was really frustrating me emotionally because of that. I didn't have to I didn't have to guard my behavior. I didn't have to try and act macho, and very thankfully I didn't have to listen to any more endorsement of political philosophies that were very closely tied to homophobia. But most of all, I wasn't taking half of who I was and locking it away. Whether it was active or not, it was still an integral part of my being. I wasn't taking that and locking it away, and it was that part that felt so at ease with her family and not with mine. But integrating myself into one person was healthy. Even at this age, even having been out for 20 years, to have to still separate myself in any situation was awful, because I was used to not doing it. Bringing that part of myself back and letting it meet my family and exist with my family and just kind of kick back and be and not be scrutinized, and to not devote all that mental energy to that exercise every second I was around them. It was bliss. I got my family back for the first time in a long time, and it had nothing to do with distance. It was emotionally. Anyway, it's just kind of amazing to me that, to an outward observer, most of what goes on in a given situation can be identical, but the people involved in it can be so dramatically different. And that was my holiday, and I hope everybody else was able to derive at least as much joy from the holidays. And I'm going to take some Excedrin and lay down. So until next time, peace, love, and pickles.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.